The nursery walls, once a soft pale yellow that bathed the room in warmth and promise, now felt like a cruel joke. They had always radiated a kind of quiet hopefulness, as if they were waiting to cradle the life we were building. Their cheerfulness felt hollow, manufactured, false. I stood there watching Madison, my wife, as she delicately adjusted the mobile above the crib. Tiny hand-knitted elephants dangled in gentle circles, and a practiced smile curled her lips. She looked beautiful, serene, intentional, and yet all I could see was artifice. Every movement she made was gentle, curated. Was putting into that room should have made my heart swell, once it would have. But today, it all looked rehearsed, like she was playing a role in some domestic fairy tale she no longer believed in. Maybe she never did. She'd insisted on handling. The decorating alone? I want it to feel just right, she'd said. At the time, I thought it was sweet. Now, I suspected that perfection had a different purpose. She wasn't preparing that room for our child. She was preparing it for someone else's. We'd been together for 7 years, married for 4. This pregnancy had been the dream we talked about on road trips and late-night whispers, undercovers, and constellations. The past months had been a whirlwind of baby names, registry lists, hormonal cravings, and midnight grocery runs. We had a plan, we had a life, at least I thought we did. Madison still moved like we were wrapped in that dream. But I wasn't in it anymore. I was watching it from the outside. It had started subtly. She worked late, took trips I wasn't invited on. Her phone calls became hushed, and she'd step into the other room when they came. I brushed it off. Everyone has their quirks. But soon, her smiles stopped reaching her eyes. Her goodbye kisses became mechanical. Like I was an item on her morning to-do list. Feed the dog, kiss husband. Check email. The anxiety didn't hit me like a freight train. It started as a whisper, quiet discomfort in my chest that grew louder with time. By her 3rd trimester, it had become a constant pressure behind my ribs. And then, one night, the thought slammed into me with terrifying clarity. What if the baby wasn't mine? It felt wrong, disgusting even, to doubt the woman I had once trusted with my entire soul. The same woman I had loved so deeply that even her flaws seemed precious. But the suspicion wouldn't let me go. I imagined every possible outcome. I played every conversation in my head like a broken record. It hurt. It felt like betrayal even to consider it. Still, I ordered the DNA test. I remember holding the kit in my hands when it arrived. Just a box of sterile swabs in an envelope, but it felt heavier than anything I'd ever carried. This was going to break something sacred or set me free. I prayed for the latter, even if I didn't believe in God. Every ring of the phone during that waiting period made my heart skip. I'd look at Madison and try to pretend I still believed in us. I'd picture the life we were supposed to have, family portraits, birthday parties, first steps. But now those visions were cracked, distorted, and all I could see were lies wrapped in bows. The day the results came, I picked them up myself. No way I was letting them sit in the mailbox. Madison was in the nursery again, humming an old lullaby as she affixed more decals to the wall. That same gentle smile sat on her lips like armor. My hands trembled as I opened the envelope. The world around me seemed to still. "Madison," I said, my voice raw, almost unrecognizable. "Can you come here for a minute? I need to show you something." She turned toward me with that sunny expression, the one she had mastered. "What is it, honey? Did the ultrasound prints—" "Come in?" she asked, a glimmer of false joy in her eyes. She still had no idea. I shook my head. "No, it's not the ultrasound. It's the DNA test results." The air shifted instantly. I handed her the paper. Her eyes scanned the page. Slowly, the light drained from her face, as if someone had pulled the soul out of her in real time. Lips parted, trembled, but no words came. She flipped the page over again and again, like she could somehow rewrite the truth by looking harder. 0% probability of paternity. She gasped barely a sound, more like a breath being stolen. "Dubby." "What?" she whispered, her voice shaking as violently as her hands. I don't understand. She looked up at me. There was no fury, no indignation, just pure, unfiltered fear. I stayed detached, cold, analytical, watching her unravel in front of me. You understand perfectly well, Madison. This baby isn't mine, I said, my voice level and eerily calm. So, who is he, or should I start digging? She flinched at my words. A fresh wave of tears streamed down her face as she sank to the floor, still clutching the paper like it might save her. I didn't mean for this to happen, she cried. It just did. We were going through a rough time. I was lost. He understood me. She sounded like a bad monologue from some soap opera, and I couldn't take it anymore. Snapped, my voice thundered through the room, bouncing off the pastel walls. Don't you dare make this about me. Don't you dare try to play the victim. She shrank back as if I had struck her. It's Ben, she finally admitted, barely audible. Ben from the gym. Ben, the personal trainer who had been texting her all hours of the night. The same guy I had smiled at out of courtesy, never knowing I was greeting the man who was undoing my life thread by thread. I pulled out my phone. I'm calling him. He deserves to know what you've destroyed. Her eyes widened with terror. I hit dial and put him on speaker. After a few rings, his voice came through, annoyingly upbeat. Hey, Madison, everything good? I said flatly. There was a pause, then a nervous chuckle. Oh, I guess this is her husband? Yeah, the one you cuckolded. The one you thought would never find out. Silence. Deafening. You want to say anything to Madison before I tell you why we're having this little chat? More silence. Madison sobbed in the background, a crumpled mess on the nursery floor. You? There, Ben? He stammered. I don't know what this is about. Really? The DNA test I'm holding says the baby's not mine. Madison says it's yours. Congratulations, man. You're about to be a father. His silence screamed louder than words. I could hear him breathing, erratic, panicked. Don't worry. I'm giving you both a chance to make things right before I go public with your family, her family, the gym, everyone. Ben tried to backpedal, but the fear in his voice was unmistakable. Look, man, it's complicated. She wasn't happy. I didn't give him the satisfaction of hearing my anger. I stayed cold, calm, surgical. Here's how this is going to go, I said. Madison signs over the house to me. You send me a generous severance for my troubles. Then you both disappear from my life. They tried to plead. She wept. He fumbled. For excuses, but I had buried my emotions. All the love, the trust, the memories, they were ashes now. I had spent sleepless nights crafting this plan. I was executing it like a professional hit. I hung up the phone and walked into the center of the nursery. With one violent yank, I ripped the mobile from the ceiling. The tiny elephants fell to the floor in a soft thud. I tore decals off the walls, shredded the crib liner, pulled apart everything she had touched with her fake love and false intentions. The room wasn't a nursery anymore. It was a crime scene. Madison was still sobbing on the floor, clutching her stomach, her dreams, whatever remained of her dignity. I didn't care. I couldn't afford to. This life-hour life was a lie, and now I was reclaiming what was mine. I left the ruins behind and walked out, got in my car, and drove without looking back. I had lawyers to call, a house to sell, a new life to begin. Had her lover now. They could piece together their broken little fantasy me. I had something they would never have again. Peace. And as I caught one final glimpse of the house in my rearview mirror, I smiled. Cold, satisfied smile. Let them live. In the wreckage, I was free.